The invitation had come printed on thick cream paper, the kind people use when they want something to feel official. Family reset lunch, Sunday, 12 p.m. Let's put the past behind us. I stood in my bedroom holding the card, staring at my reflection in the mirror. The woman looking back at me wasn't broken, but she was exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from work or lack of sleep, the kind that comes from being the responsible one for too long. The fixer, the stabilizer, the woman everyone leaned on and quietly resented for standing upright. I almost didn't go, but guilt is a powerful leash. My brother-in-law Nathan had called it a reset. My cousin Lila had promised it was just food and conversation. No drama, no accusations, just healing. I should have known better. As I reached for my car keys, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Is this Eleanor Royce?" a man asked. "Yes." "This is Daniel Kraus, senior partner at Kraus & Bell. I represent the Royce Family Trust." My stomach tightened. "You need to sit down," he said calmly, "and you need to not attend that lunch." I laughed softly. "I think you have the wrong—" "No," he interrupted. "I don't. And if you walk into that house today, you may not walk out with your legal autonomy intact." Silence swallowed the room. "They filed an emergency petition this morning. Mental incapacity, financial mismanagement, emotional instability. They're positioning you as a liability." My legs gave out. I sat on the edge of the bed. "They say you're a danger to yourself," he added, "and to
the estate." The estate. The word landed like a confession. The lunch wasn't reconciliation. It was an ambush. Daniel arrived at my house 30 minutes later with a briefcase that looked heavier than it should have been. He didn't waste time. Inside were medical opinions from doctors I had never met, statements from concerned relatives, and photos of me taken at my father's memorial, me crying, my mascara streaked, my hands shaking. The captions were clinical. Subject displaying emotional volatility, inability to regulate grief, possible manic episodes. I stared at the images. "They're weaponizing grief," I said quietly. Daniel nodded. "And narrative." That's when I understood. This wasn't about me being unwell. This was about control. The Royce estate, 3 historic properties, 2 commercial buildings, and a private investment fund, was locked behind my signature. As trustee, I required unanimous board consent for liquidation. Unanimous, except me. They didn't need my cooperation. They needed my disqualification. By evening, the story had already begun spreading. Lila posted a tearful video. "Please pray for Eleanor. Mental health is real." My aunt commented, "We're doing what's best for her." I didn't respond. I observed. Gaslighting works best when the victim panics. When they rush to defend themselves, they confirm the accusation. "Look how emotional she is." So I did the opposite. I audited. I logged into my financial dashboards. That's when I saw it. Transactions approved at 2:13 a.m., meeting minutes I never attended, calendar invites deleted, passwords reset. Someone had been operating as me. The access logs pointed to a device registered to Nathan. My grief hadn't made me careless. They had edited my reality. At 11:47 p.m., my doorbell rang. When I opened it, my niece, Clara, stood there, barefoot, shaking, her phone clutched in her hand like a lifeline. "They told me you were sick," she whispered, "but they're lying." She handed me her phone. A recording played. Nathan's voice, calm, strategic. "If the judge signs off, she's done. We move the assets, sell the North property first, and put her somewhere quiet." Another voice, my aunt. "She won't fight. Eleanor never fights." I closed my eyes. They had mistaken restraint for weakness.
Clara looked at me like a child waiting to see if the world was still safe. I took her hand. "You did the bravest thing," I said. "Now let me do mine." 2 days later, in court, I played the role they'd written. Quiet, withdrawn, overwhelmed. I agreed to a temporary financial conservatorship, on one condition. They took control of the estate. They celebrated. What they didn't know was that 10 years earlier, my father had placed a non-revocable heritage protection clause on the core assets. Any liquidation without federal clearance triggered automatic investigation the moment they transferred funds. Alarms sounded, accounts froze, federal auditors stepped in. Fraud doesn't care about family. By the time they realized what they'd done, it was too late. Charges followed, civil suits, public exposure. The narrative flipped. The same people who called me unstable now whispered my name like a warning. Months later, Clara moved in with me. One evening, she asked, "Why didn't you stop them sooner?" I smiled gently. "Because sometimes the safest way to survive," I said, "is to let people reveal who they are, on the record. Legacy isn't about power, it's about protection. And this time, I protected the right thing."